I'm so excited to see all of you. Welcome to the Council of Billionaires Masterclass. Yay! So excited. So this is what the format is going to be. We're going to invite the guides to join, and then after they're done channeling, I'm going to be inviting Mary to come on to share about her experience working with the guides, kind of her journey, and then we're going to have some time for Q&A, hopefully. So if you have to leave early, that's fine. Replay will be up for a week after this. Okay, so let's get started. So if you're just joining, please mute yourself. I want to give you as much time as possible today. All right. Welcome, everyone. We're so delighted to do this masterclass. So let us share the intention for the mass class so that everybody's on the same page, because you might be, just getting off of work or doing whatever it is. So we want to make sure that everyone's mind is set to the same frequency, the same tune. Okay, you're here for a reason. Okay, you're taking precious time out of your work so that you can be here to receive what? Okay, you're not just here to receive the words that we're going to be giving you, but you're actually going to be receiving your own next level vision of who you want to become. Okay, who you are in a way destined to become, but also who the universe wants you to become. So what you want is exactly what the universe wants for you and more. Okay, sometimes maybe your vision for yourself is limited by your own conscious mind. So our job today is to really expand that conscious mind. Okay, so understanding that you're here for that purpose is to expand that conscious mind so that your vision will become even greater. Okay, much, much greater than what you think is possible. So we're going to really stretch that mind today. So we're going to start off to talk a little bit about entelechy, and we've actually already shared some of that lesson in the videos that Solera has recorded. So go back to study those if you have not yet. So what does it mean to be connected to the entelechy? An acorn is supposed to be a big oak tree, right? A baby whale is supposed to be a giant whale. So what is your thing that you're going to grow into? Okay, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes it's not on the conscious mind, because on the conscious mind, in your conscious mind, you know based on your history. Yeah, you know based on what your parents have told you. You know based on your own personal learning. You say, this is who I am. This is who I'm going to become. But because you have not yet opened up the possibility to an extra great version of yourself, you just haven't thought about it in your mind. Okay, so then the question is, how am I going to think about it so I can manifest it? Okay, that should be a question. How can I tap into that greatest version of myself that I can't even think of right now based on my conscious mind? This is why you're here. Okay, because your mind is limited in a certain way. Okay, we're not saying that you don't have control over your life. You do. You can say, I want a house, then the universe will line up to give you a house. I want a car, then the universe is going to line up to give you a car. Those are very simple manifestations. Okay, if you're here, chances are you've heard all the manifestation tapes out there. So we're going to go beyond just manifesting. Okay, because they are not actually as hard as you make it to be. They're really a lot simpler. But what we do want to offer you in this masterclass is the possibility of something that's greater than what you know. Okay, what your conscious mind can decide in this moment. Because maybe your conscious mind at the moment decides, okay, I'm going to make $2 million in 1 year, or I'm going to be a mother in 3 years. You have these sort of fixed ideas of what you would like by this time. So one, we're going to stretch the brain, and two, we're going to help you collapse the time. Okay, we're going to do that basically simultaneously, because those things kind of go hand in hand. Now, what do we mean by expanding your mind beyond? Okay, what does that mean? Beyond. Okay, we want you to be so unlimited by your mind that possibilities opportunities, coincidences, and all the people that need to show up will show up. Okay, all the abundance need to show up will show up. Okay, and it's going to be like a no-brainer. Okay, like the money will come, be like, oh, no big deal. The perfect love comes, you're like, oh, no big deal. The perfect partner, business partner comes, like, oh, no big deal. Everything will just be lined up. Okay, this is the level of alignment that we want you to experience. Okay, this is beyond manifestation 101. If you need manifestation 101, just go watch our YouTube videos. Okay, so but beyond manifestation 101, okay, if you actually look in history of the people channel, right, you have a lot of the greats, the people who've channeled for you in the past. A lot of the questions in the past is, oh, it's like, oh, how do I get this? How do I get this? How do I get this? And people are still asking questions at that level, but if you're here, chances are you're ready to go beyond that. So we're going to take you to that next level of just manifesting stuff, which you can do. It's about welcoming even more. So number one, you can align yourself on a daily basis. You're going to talk to your greater self. Okay, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Who am I meant to be? I'm going to be aligned from this moment forward to the greatest version of myself. If you set your intention in this way, instead of saying, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this, then you will always be on track, because the intention is really simple. The intention is, I'm going to be aligning myself to the greatest vision of who I'm supposed to be every single day. Okay, instead of asking questions from the Manifestation 101, which you can see plenty of on social media. How do I get this? 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 We can guarantee you're going to have everything that you want in life, and then you're going to be wondering, so what's next? So we're here to answer the question of what's next. Okay, the what's next question is you being in total alignment like this. Okay, like this. It's like, this is your greater self, and this is you. You're going to be on the same page. But your mind has to come along. Okay, because your mind is the conscious mind will say, I don't want to do that. That does not sound right. Or I don't want to do that. That sounds really hard. The mind is what creates the resistance, right? So we're going to help you overcome that resistance and teach you how to understand, okay, we're going to create the new possibility. And this new possibility is about, okay, about what? It's about aligning yourself to all the things that you want, so that all the things can come together and help you create that life that you desire and more. Okay, it's like whatever you want, just leave a little bit of room and more. Okay, it's like if you ask for stuff, I want a house, and then give yourself some room and then some more. Okay, maybe you want a house that's like 1,000 square foot and more. Maybe it could be more than just 1,000 square foot. Okay, so whatever you think you want, always leave extra room. This is why your intention should not just be, I want this thing, or I want this amount of money by this time, I want a new lover, I want to have a better body. It needs to be, I'm aligned every single day to my highest version, okay, of who I am. That needs to be your intention. Because if your intention is set in a way, we wouldn't say it's incorrect, it's just limiting. If you set your intention on, I want this amount of money by this time, you're always going to feel like you're going to hit a ceiling. Okay, this is why people ask us all the time, oh, I'm at the ceiling now, how do I do more? It's because you approached it incorrectly in the first place. Okay, when you set a goal, we're going to just trash all the gurus teaching right now, okay? Just forget about goal setting. Because sometimes when you set a goal, we're not saying don't have intention, but sometimes when you set a goal, the goal limits you. So what happens in the traditional Manifestation 101 is you cap yourself. You cap yourself. You immediately say, I'm just going to be this much. I'm not going to go above that because I don't think I can go above this. So I'm just going to cap myself. Let's say this year I'm just going to make 100,000. This year I'm just going to be 1 million. For some people, this year I'm going to be 100 million. right? There's like everybody's level is different. Or let's say this year I'm going to manifest lover. Next, the following year I'm going to have a kid. Okay, you have these caps. Okay, so you wonder, where are the miracles? You're not allowing miracles to come to you at all from the way you're operating, because you say, this is who I am. This is it. This is the ceiling. And then you wonder why you feel quote unquote stuck in your life. Okay, it's because you've learned from lots of different people, history books, whoever, that I'm just going to set my goal, and my goal is going to be doable, right? You set your goals, and those goals are doable goals. Sometimes people think that the way we teach is a bit outrageous because we say, don't set your goals like that. Okay, it's because when you set your goals like that, you automatically are capping yourself. It's like you're putting the lid over the box. You're saying, I can't put any more present in there. But maybe the box is like half empty. You could put more presents in there. But you're like, no, I'm just gonna, that's it. That's all I can feel. Just 2 sweaters. Yeah, that's no more room. So we want to stuff as many things as you want into the box, and then leave some extra room for even more surprises. Okay? This is how you need to think in order to create what you would consider as a magical life. Okay, as a life full of miracles. Okay, so just throw away the traditional goal setting things that you've been taught aside for a moment, and think, okay, where's room for extra surprises? Okay, where's room for extra surprises? Because you see, one of the things that you don't request from the universe, and very few people do this, is, universe, just give me a nice surprise. Very few people actually say that. Usually people demand from the universe, I want the body, I want the lover, I want the money. Yeah, that's very common. But very few people actually say, universe, I just want a nice, pleasant surprise. And I'm going to allow you to give me an unlimited amount of wealth, an unlimited amount of happiness, and I'm open to experience it in miraculous ways. But the mind says, but that's so vague. That's so vague. The mind says, no, that's not vague. We need to set some concrete goals. Okay, and that's how all the gurus out there teach you, right? That's how a lot of coaches out there teach you like that. But look around everybody in your life, right? Like, use objective evidence. If the traditional goal setting works well, then everybody should be bajillionaire by now. Everybody would have a perfect love life by now, right? Everybody would have a great family with happy children by now, or have the perfect health. Do they? The answer is most likely no. So if the traditional goal setting method works, then how come you don't have what you have? Now, here's the discrepancy, right? You've been taught, do it this way, then you can get the result. But the discrepancy here is, no, if you look around, like your neighbors, your friends, your family, do people have what they want by setting, quote unquote, achievable or doable goals? Do they have what they want? No. Not a lot, right? Few people have, but not a lot of people have. So it's like, use your logical evidence. It's like the evidence is not that great. Okay, so you continue to have life where you feel like something is missing. Okay, I've worked really hard to get this promotion, but something is missing. I've worked really hard. Finally, I have a lover. Something is missing. Then you always feel like something is missing. This is the problem with how you go about life the traditional way. Okay, we don't do traditional here. Okay, you can go somewhere else to find traditional methods. Okay, here chances are you're open to unconventional methods, which we provide. Okay, so we want to really think. Okay, the evidence is that when you set yourself on a traditional path, you and a lot of people out there are not really getting what they want. So the untraditional method, we're going to teach you now that this part, the untraditional method is you're going to ask for something, which would be a really nice surprise from the universe. And you're going to say, I want all the fun surprises that are going to come to me that will support me on my path to be the greatest version of who I'm here to be. Okay. Really, life is very simple. You only need to ask pretty much that one question. I just want to have all the miracles that will come into my life that will support me and show me how to become the greatest version of who I am. And every single day, that's my only goal is to be in alignment with the greatest version of who I'm here to be. Sometimes when you are almost like a little bit more general, a little bit more quote unquote vague, that you would think your logical mind would be like, that's very vague. You make room. It's like you're making room a little bit in your consciousness. Say, okay, there are things I don't know. It's like you don't know what you don't know, basically. Okay, there's a huge gap actually in your consciousness. It's this area in your mind which is you don't know what you don't know. But your conscious mind thinks, I know everything. I know a lot of things. But we're telling you right now, okay? You have so much untapped potential. So much untapped potential, which exists in the space of, I don't know what I don't know. So we're teaching you how to connect to the, I don't know what I don't know. But I'm open to knowing what I don't know so that I can tap into those areas to create even more miracles for myself. Okay, so this is how we want you to think, because your thinking creates reality. But if you're approaching your life with, the lid already covering the box, and it's like you're not giving yourself the opportunity to put more presence in the box. We want you to put more presence into the box. It's like allow the universe to give you more presence, and so that you can have more, experience more, and have more joy, and just really live a full life. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are on this journey right now. You can absolutely do so much more than what you've already done and what you think you're capable of. But because you approach it as, let's just do the traditional goal setting, you always hit a limit. So now we're going to bridge the gap in your mind. Okay, guys, you're telling me I can think really big. I think really big. But how do I do that? I'm not adjusted to that frequency yet. How do I go from 0 to like $10 million? Or I've been single for 10 years now, finding a lover. Or maybe I wanted to have children, but I couldn't have children, to not having children. Or let's say I'm always overweight to now being beautiful and slim. So we're gonna help you bridge that gap so that you can move into the next space saying, I don't have to judge where I'm at. I just need to be open to a new possibility. The reason why sometimes you're really stuck in where you are is because you're looking at the thing that you don't want. Okay, you're looking at it. So your attention is fixated on almost like on an object. Okay, if you see something negative, your mind is actually very fixated on it. In your mind, you're asking, how do I fix that? How do I change it? I want to change it. I'm open to changing it, but I don't know how. Even though you may not be saying that out loud, okay? You're saying that all the time really loudly in your mind. So we hear it, okay? We hear it all the time. So you're projecting, I don't know how, I wonder how, I want to know how, okay? So you really stuck, you're stuck in this one point. But we want you to actually just take a break, like take a step back. You say, I don't know how yet, okay? But I'm not going to judge myself for not knowing how, because, at some point, Einstein had to learn his ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Okay? But at some point, he had to learn 1 + 1 = 2. Okay? No one gets, like, no one skips that step, right? 1 + 1 = 2. He had to learn that when he was like a baby. Okay? So just recognize, I don't know how yet, but I will, because it's going to be presented to me. Okay? So and here's the thing. People say, well, how do I trust that? Like, I don't see evidence of what I want. Okay. And this is the part where sort of almost everybody trips over. And this is the part, it's almost like this is the test that you're here to pass. Okay. We're not going to sugarcoat this part, but we're going to make it black and white for you. This is the test that you're here to pass. When you don't know something, you want to know something. And you feel that just give me evidence. You're demanding from the universe, give me evidence, give me evidence, give me evidence. And then I would trust you after you give me evidence. Okay? Which is how your mind works. But the universe, the test is, without the evidence, you need to know that what you want is given to you. Okay? The test is, this is the answer, okay? Is to know that what you want is given to you. Okay? So if people ask us, what's the secret to life? We're going to give them the answer on a sheet, and it's going to say, what you want is actually already given to you. And the only reason why you're not getting what you want is there's resistance to really trusting that process. Okay. So when it all comes down to, okay, sometimes people, it's almost like they don't really want to trust the universe. They don't want to trust God. They don't want to trust this almighty being until they give you the money in your bank account, right? It's like, give me the money in my bank account. Give me the lover. Give me the health. Give me. Okay? Most people behave like a 5-year-old. I want ice cream. I want ice cream. I want ice cream. Everybody's like this. Okay? You may not be screaming out loud like a child, but you are screaming here, and we hear it. So to make that connection, it's like to make that bridge, to cross over. It's like sometimes you look at certain people, you're like, how come they're just so successful all the time? They're so happy all the time. Granted, we say their life is not perfect, okay? They're not dead yet, so there are plenty of things for them to work on. So don't think that they look good on the outside, that their life is perfect. They're not. But there's some people who are good at creating and attracting even more and more opportunities to themselves all the time. Okay? It's because in the face of failure, in the face of having no evidence for success, okay, in the face of no support from anyone, maybe they're just surrounded by naysayers. What they have is sort of this relentless faith, you can say, or belief. This is what I want. I know I can create that, and I know that the universe is going to give me even more. It's like you can really read lots of success stories out there. Okay, why do some people succeed despite obstacles? Or some of these global peacemakers that been persecuted, been in jail for years on end, and have been pursued by governments who want to hunt them down, but they succeed despite the difficulties. This is the answer. We just give it to you. But most people will say, oh, I can't do that. There's just no way. I can't. I'm just not that kind of person. I can't do that. Really, most people would say that. Yeah, that's way too hard. That's like totally not me. Right? So you automatically say no. You're like, no, I don't want to do that. That's way too hard. But here's the thing. And it's sort of like the saying, no risk, no reward. Okay, we're not encouraging people to have blind risk. But what happened is a lot of times people, they're not willing to make a leap. They're not willing to go to the territory that's unknown. They're like, that's just not me. You hear people say that. You might even hear yourself say that. Oh, have you ever considered being a public speaker? Oh yeah, that's not me. That's really hard. Have you ever considered doing this? Oh yeah, no, that's not me. I just like, that's like not my thing, right? You reject it. Instead of saying, well, I don't know how yet, but maybe. Okay. So if there's anything we want you to understand is give yourself some room for extra possibilities and surprises from the universe. Okay. If you allow yourself to be surprised, it's almost like have a fun game with the universe. Oh, I wonder what you're going to show me. Then life is really fun. Life is really fun. Like, oh, I wonder what you're going to give me. But you're not demanding it. You're not saying you have to give me stuff, but you make room. Okay? So what would be the practical step? The practical step is you're going to realign your intention from I want this, and I want this, and I want this, okay, to let me be in full alignment, okay, to the greatest version of who I am, who I want to be, who the universe wants me to be. I'm going to be in alignment with that. Okay. Really, we're not going to give you like homework like that you have to do for 3 hours a day. But if you actually can keep that in the back of your mind, and if you keep that in the back of your mind consistently, frequently, daily, then your intention is really clear. Really, there's only one goal in life for everybody. You're going to be in alignment to the greatest version of who you are here to be, to experience the most amount of creative power. Right? This is not like ego boosting kind of power. Just experience your creative power as a human being. That's everybody. We don't care if you are the janitor or you're someone who's like the CEO of 500 Fortune 500 company. You still have room to go. Okay, you still have like extra room there. You can stretch more. Go there, go there, go there. Okay, because you're not limited. Okay, you're not limited by, oh, this is my little goal for this year. This is my little goal for next year. It's such a limiting way of thinking. This is why if you look around everybody, the objective evidence of this world is people are not really happy. At least not all of them. So why continue down the traditional path of what you think will get you to a life of happiness or greatness or, unlimited, unbounded success and abundance? This is what we want for you. Okay? So we're giving you a very clear path, a very direct path. Okay? We understand. The method is actually really simple, but it's not always easy to do, right? Sometimes people will say, well, that sounds really easy. That sounds like, oh, it's so simple, but that's not easy to do. We understand that. Like, this is where practice comes in. Okay? No one becomes an Olympic athlete after just one day of class, okay? No one. Because there are different levels of mastery. Emotional mastery, right? Mental mastery, maybe even physical mastery. And then there's your spiritual mastery. There's all these levels of mastery that you're here to learn and to experience, okay? So this is not a race, okay? You're not in a race with your peers around you. You're not in a race with anybody that you see on TV. You're just you, okay? So your timing is correct for you. You don't need to be comparing yourself with anybody else. Okay, maybe they're further along in their marriage, further along with their children, further along in their bank account. It doesn't matter. Okay, the only person that you're here to have a good relationship with is you. Okay, that is it. Okay, so we want you to almost just realign. Okay, starting from right now. The greatest goal, if you will, intention is simply to be in alignment. Okay, and that's it. That will be your first step. Okay, if there's a first step, this is your first step. But it will require you to pay attention to it regularly. Okay, it's not like you think about it once, it's like, oh, okay, that was great. I heard it, then it goes, it's like 1 year, it goes 1 year, it goes out the other. Okay. This is not about us telling you like a little gimmick, like here's like a little pony trick, go do it. We're not giving you a pony trick. Okay. We're giving you something that would be, it's like a straight path. Okay, a straight path. Okay, and then really what we're trying to say is stop trying to be a control freak. Okay, that's really what we're trying to say. Okay, if you can just let go a little bit, stop being control freak, then you have that extra freedom, okay, to allow miracles to come in. So we hope that's clear. Okay, so we're going to complete for now. The lesson is not over yet, because we know Solera will be planning this for a couple more days, and we'll be happy to continue with this. Okay, alrighty. I hope that was fun for you, and it was a lot of information as always. It's like I sometimes feel like when I'm channeling, they're just jamming in. They're just jamming in everything as much as they can. So I'm gonna see if Mary is here. She is our guest today. Please unmute yourself. Okay,
I'm here.
Hi. Oh my God. I'm like breaking in a sweat. You know this, you see me like this many times.
Yeah. I'm glad to be back. I'm like, listening to everything that you just said. I was just like, it's such a good reminder. I never stop learning from the guides.
Yeah, this is something that it's true, you know, like you think you've heard it all, but then they say it in another way. You're like, wait, I've never heard that before, you know? Remember,
exactly.
Like I'm not, like, just so everybody knows, like I am not your guru. Like I am not perfect. I cry and whine and complain, you know, to the guides all the time. Okay, so I'm definitely learning alongside everybody here. So I want to introduce you to Mary so that you can hear a little bit about her experience. She's been a student of the guides, so she totally understands that this is this is definitely a journey in terms of personal development and really stretching that you know, that possibility. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself a little bit. You know, tell people what you do. You know, how'd you end up here coming to the guides?
Of course. So hi, everyone. I'm Mary Alvazuris. I love empowering soulful entrepreneurs to share their magic and through a soul-aligned brand and money-making website. So in simple terms, I'm a web designer and brand strategist. And I met the guys, well, I met Solera last year. And I was completely in love with the vibe. I was like, oh my God, I want to be as fairy-like as she is. It was just so magical to hear all her stories and so fun. And so, of course, I just stayed connected over time. And in January, just like everyone, you know, looking for their plan, like, oh, what is this year going to be about? She was, you know, marketing one of her programs, and it was about, you know, setting up your year or something. Not those exact words, but something along those lines. And I was like, all right, I'm in. Let's do this. What is this year going to be about? So I signed up, and, you know, as like my mantra is everything goes better than I ever expected, but this one really takes the cake. Like, this is not what I expected at all, but it's been so much better, like seriously so much better. My life has completely up leveled. It's crazy because I'm like, who was I in December? I'm a completely different person now.
Yeah.
You know, I was sitting on, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you want to tell people kind of how you were before you came, like kind of that January version of yourself.
The January version, okay, so she was insecure in her business ever since she started it, basically. Things were good, but I've always still just had that insecurity of like, oh my God, things are going well, but when is it going to go bad again? The guides taught me really how to just trust myself, the universe, how to create that feeling of stability. That was a game changer. My manifesting, I'm going to call it a muscle, is like so strong. Like insane. Like let's say I was lifting 2 pounds, now I'm lifting 200 pounds. Like it's crazy. Like just, I'll never forget, I was on vacation in March, I think. Yeah. And I just felt like everything was just handed to me on a silver platter. Like, oh, I want this. And boom, it was there. And I was like, oh my God, this isn't how it used to be. And March was probably the first time I left home because, you know, we've been in a pandemic. So I didn't really get to experience the world like I did in March. And I was like, wow, things are just amazing. My savings account, I finally have one and it's growing every day. The guides taught me about, you know, not so much managing my money, but like how to make more and growing my wealth, expanding my container. That in itself has been so amazing. I don't know. I think I could say not last year, at least a year before that, I was living paycheck to paycheck, always like in like, am I gonna make this? Am I gonna make that? And now I have a lot of money and I spend a lot of money, which is a crazy thing.
Yeah. I think that's the thing,
I
right?
spend a lot now. I'm always just giving myself what I want and the money keeps coming in. It doesn't stop. Before it was like, I'd calculate like, I don't think I could buy that because that's going to take away from that. One thing the guides taught me was like, don't hoard your money. I was like, okay, I'm going to try that. And literally don't hoard your money because it works. So yeah, it's crazy. I was sitting in my balcony yesterday and I was looking at my patio furniture and I'm like, wow, when I bought this, I moved here in November. I live in Austin now. I remember being at the store and being like, should I take the table? Should I not take the table? Like, oh, it's going to put me over budget. Oh, whatever. I bought the table, but I still kind of felt like that. Oh, should I have bought in it? I can always return it, right? And then yesterday I was like, oh my God, well, one, I got the table, good. And I'm like, if I had walked into the store right now, I'd probably be like, give me the couch, give me the umbrella, I want the grill. I'm like, I'm a completely different person. So I had to celebrate that. And I was like, wow, like time's been flying, but like, yeah, working with the guides, it's just been so up leveling.
So I think that's one of the things that that was really magical is I felt like when I first met you, you really were restricting yourself. You know, this is not a criticism, but I just felt like you were really holding yourself back a lot in terms of what you would allow yourself. Like even your there are a lot of things, even like your relationship, kind of your dream of buying a home, like all these things. It's almost like you were just okay with like the small version of you, you know?
That's exactly how it was. I remember asking the guides, like, so I drive a car and it's paid off, but you know, I'm learning that like my bigger version of myself should be driving, you know, a Porsche, for example. And they're like, you can do it. And I'm like, you know, I want to get a house. They're like, you should get the $1 million house. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But yeah, no, definitely. I think I was I was limiting myself, you know, in so many ways, from showing up as my true self. I remember one time the guides were like, you know, you need to be the girl that's sitting in the middle of the cafe. You need to be the one in the middle of the dance floor. And so, yeah, but being able to finally allow myself to dream and really, you know, ask for the bigger things, that was amazing because like I said, they've been coming in. For example, it's as simple as shopping. Like if I want something, I buy it, and then my money flow doesn't stop. And before I'd be like, no, I'll save up for that. Oh, I'll put that on a wish list, or oh, that's not for me. And it's not like that anymore. And that is just,
Yeah.
yeah, so grateful.
Like, what do you think is the quality that, let's say, another student comes to the guys? What do you think is the quality that someone needs to do this kind of work, right? Because this is not really traditional coaching. This is not therapy, right? Like, they're very unconventional.
It's not therapy. It's not traditional. I would definitely say have an open mind and actually like do the homework. And the homework isn't like, oh, let me, do all this work. The guides make it really, really simple. Even when they're explaining something, they explain it in the simplest way, where it's you can understand, and they'll ask you like, do you understand? And then you're like, yeah, that was amazing. But really it's just about having an open mind. That's really, really key. Because I mean, working with the guides, there's a lot of deconditioning. You grow up and you think things have to be a certain way, and they really don't. And the guides teach you that. And so if you're there sitting there like, nope, I'm still going to sit in my old ways, then it's not going to work. But if you're like, okay, I'm going to try it, this sounds actually so much better than what I know, then things are really going to work for you. And they'll give you a little homework like, all right, well, try this. It could be as simple as like a mindset thing when you're brushing your teeth. Everyone brushes their teeth. So it's not like hard homework like, oh, go do X, Y, Z, and that. It's literally just like one little step. Like, I remember for me, it was like, turn on the faucet and imagine that the water is like cold water or something like that. I don't remember specifically, but it was like as simple as that. That's the homework. And, it was first, I think it was for, just letting money flow in, or just abundance, something around that. But yeah, so I would say definitely an open mind and do the homework.
Yeah, and tell people a little bit like how you're doing now, like in your work, in your business, your relationship.
Yeah, so the guides helped me, oh my God, in everything. In my health, last year I had a huge health scare, and luckily I was able to cure, but then just kind of reconnecting with myself and reclaiming my health. The guides helped me do that. I remember my first session, I was like, okay, well, how do I grow my business? How do I market my business? They taught me that, and I've been doing it since. And my business is completely grown. I went from, just getting any client to just manifesting my dream clients. And it comes in like just such an easy flow. It's like, okay, I have a few clients, I clear the slate, and then, more keep coming. And it's really magical. It's really funny. Even last week, I was like, oh, I just cleared my slate. Where's my next clients? It was like 2-3 days later, boom, they all came in. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you, universe. So I was like, Mary, stop living in your old, ways. Like, it's all going to work. You already know that. And my relationship, I remember there was questions and doubts and things, and it's really, really helped my romantic relationship with my partner. There was things we had to work through, and the things that the guides taught me really, really helped with that. And even, well, like I said, my finances and really just my lifestyle, like my wealth has completely expanded. And it's so nice to feel that like anything is possible. Like they were just saying, being in alignment with that. I was not in alignment with that. I think this was the road and I was way over here. So, oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's been life changing. And yeah, even just always listening to what they have to say. Because like Solera was saying, like they sometimes repeat the same concept, but in a different way. And it's just a reminder, just like, oh yeah, they taught me that too. Or like, oh yeah, that's right. And so, yeah, it's been amazing.
So I have a kind of fun question for you.
Of course.
I think a lot of people are, it's like, working with the guys is kind of like a woo-woo thing, right? If you were to tell people or explain this to people, and people ask you, oh, is this like psychic reading? What would you say to them?
It's not a psychic reading. When I think of a psychic reading, I think of like someone looking into a crystal ball and being like, on June 10th, you're gonna meet the love of your life. It's not like that at all. There's no dates, there's no predictions, there's nothing. It's really just about learning what's possible for you, how it's possible for you, in a way that you understand it. I'm sure every session that Solera has. Well, actually, no, you told me that once. You're like, wow, I never knew that's how you can grow your money. Like literally my last client, they told her to do this. So everyone's different. I remember for me, I don't remember. I mean, they taught me so many things I can't remember right now. But I know for one of your clients, they're like, go look at your spreadsheet. And that was not a step for me. I don't look at my spreadsheet. Yeah. But for me, it was something else I don't remember. Like I said, they taught me a lot of things. But It's not a psychic thing. It's really just about understanding like how it all works and how it's all possible for you, what you want. And yeah, it's non-traditional. Um, it is woo-woo in the sense that you are connected with the universe and you have to trust that and just be open to all the possibilities and the magic. So in that sense, I would say it's woo-woo, but it's not that crazy, to be honest. I mean, I guess it is, but maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't know, but life is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think you really were, you did so well. I really do agree that the key quality is just to be open. Like if you really insist, I always tell everybody, listen, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. Like they're just not going to tell you what you want to hear, but they will tell you what you need to know. And people ask sometimes a lot of similar questions, but they would never like just give out general answers. Like everyone is so, like everyone's so specific, so their answer to you is so specific. Like what I channel for you, honestly, I've never channeled it for other people. It was always just about you. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I really, well, because I've also done some general sessions where, I was just in the group live, what is it, 7-week coaching or
Yes,
6-week
yes,
coaching?
that's right.
And yeah, that was really great learning from the guides, but I'm like, oh, the one-on-one sessions, like those are literally for you. Like they literally tell you how to achieve X or whatever question you have, with like what's literally the answer for you, which is so amazing. So that one-on-one is, yeah, it's gold.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, because you've really done great and you've really showed up to pretty much everything the guides have offered.
I did. I'll admit I didn't do all the homework 100% of it, but I did 85, 90, and that's still huge. And yeah, it's really exciting. I'm so grateful for you because I don't know where I'd be if I hadn't been able to have those sessions and change my mindset. I've done a lot of programs and courses, and everyone's taught different things, but clearly those didn't work for me. I remember the guides told me, they're like, well, clearly nothing that you've done is working for you.
Yeah, they did say that. Modesty is not allowed to quality. It's just so you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they really will tell you, you think you're going to hear something because that's the answer that that's probably what you've learned in the past, but what they're going to tell you is completely different. But when they break it down, it makes total sense. And when you actually give it a chance and try it, or, do the homework or allow yourself to shift that mindset or whatever it is, like you're just going to open yourself to a whole world of possibilities and magic and growth and up leveling. It's amazing.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your personal experience. Sometimes it's just nice to hear someone from someone else and not just hearing it from Solera, you know? So, well, I want to take this opportunity to kind of share with everyone what the guides are up to next. So, the Council Billionaire is open. This is a sort of high level mastermind, and Mary is invited as well. She knows. Um, I'm going to actually just drop a link so everybody can kind of read on your own and to take a look at what it is. Basically, the Council Billionaire is a mastermind for people who want to really up level. Okay, we're not just talking about like a little bit of up level. We're talking about quantum leaping and collapsing time. So I want you to really kind of think about where you are right now and where you want to go, let's say a year from now. And actually, it didn't take Mary very long. Like it really didn't take you very long, like maybe like 3-4 months. And the time can shorten, in terms of how much you can succeed in life, but also understand that the Council Billionaire is really for people who want to contribute to the world, not just like let's earn a lot of money, hoard a lot of money, buy like the next, whatever. It's really about up leveling you to the point where you think of yourself as, I'm really a leader in this world and I'm going to shape the world, in the way that I think would be really beneficial for the entire planet. It's really that level of thinking where, okay, now I'm going to step step into that role of being a conscious leader. So I'm going to just drop the link, and I'm not going to take too much time here. You can just read about it, and if you have a question in a little bit, you can just ask me. So this is soleraforhumanity.com/apply. I hope that I have that correctly. Yeah, so you can go read that, and please do schedule a discovery call if you're interested in working with me in that way. So just, yes, go study that, all right? So next, I want to open up, and thank you so much, Mary, for being so generous with us and sharing yourself. Really appreciate it.
Of course. One thing I do want to say, I didn't mention, is working with the guides, things are going to happen really fast. So get ready for that. I even remember one of my questions was like, I'm afraid of speed. How can I adjust? And they taught me. But get ready for what you want is possible, and it's going to happen fast. Like, of course, again, if you follow the homework and the steps and whatnot. But yeah, get ready for things to happen fast. It's exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much for telling people that. It's so true, because sometimes people are actually afraid of the speed. You know, it's like going downhill. You know, you're like, oh my God, it's happening. Yeah, I remember you.
I remember I wanted to put the brakes on things. I was like, again, it was coming back from that. Like you said, I was restricting myself. So always feeling like I couldn't have it all. For example, the market, I feel like I couldn't, buy the expensive cheese. I had to buy the cheap cheese.
Yeah.
But now I just buy what I want when I go to the market. That was the thing I worked with the guides. But anyway, yeah, it got to a point where I was like, I don't want to make any more wishes. They're all coming true. But no, allow yourself to wish. You're literally here to experience the magic that the world has to offer. And so, yeah, get ready for that. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Okay, so if anyone at this point has questions for me and you want to just kind of ask, what's going on in your own lives, please pop them in the chats, or you can just unmute yourself. It's totally fine. Just be free and ask any questions based on what the guides have taught you today, or based on, or if you have a question for Mary, you can ask her as well. So just go ahead, be the brave one, and unmute yourself. I think that's easier. Yeah? Who is going? Going. Who is this?
It's Wendy.
Wendy! Woohoo!
How are you?
Oh my God, you've been manifesting like crazy, girl. Like, please tell everybody.
Yes. You want to hear my little story?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll give you the backstory of what happened. So I had $1 million business. I then 2 years ago got the news that our manufacturer, we were selling clocks on Amazon as one of our businesses that was bringing in seven figures plus. The manufacturer told us they weren't going to sell to us anymore, and we lost that business within 30 days and pretty much almost everything. And we went on nearly bankrupt. We were using those funds to build our new business, which was vacation rentals. So all of those funds that was coming from that business was helping us to build, to pay for salary for our new people, our payroll, and all this and stuff. So anyway, long story short, we nearly lost all that. We started to build back and got to almost our high season in vacation rentals, and then COVID hit, and it was a sucker punch. And we really got close to bankruptcy at that point. But things started to really turn around, and we ended up we've now, as of today, surpassed our revenue from when we were having our 7-figure business. So now everything has turned around. We've got double the properties. We have more bookings than we've ever had before, and it's only June. So anyway, yes, we've been having amazing year. And I thank the guides and Solera for helping helping us get through some of those tough times for us too. So my question is that I have a goal of 3 million this year, which still feels very stretchy. It's
The guys
very
wouldn't think so.
stressful.
The guys wouldn't think so.
I know that. I know. And so have this constant battle in my head of, you know, is 3 million even doable? And what would it take to get 3 million? And also feeling some limits with my team and the cleaning people we have and stuff for our vacation rentals, and feeling some of the burnout that they might be experiencing, and feeling those kinds of limits. And how do I get through and break through some of that limited feeling of not just myself, but also the capacity of my team? I know I can hire people. That's one way of doing it, but I also am one person too, trying to manage the ship.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we're here. So you're asking us because when you ask that question, you are already assuming there's a limit. Okay, so we're going to clear that for you immediately. Okay, because you're asking from the perspective, right? Like, think about how you just asked us that question,
right?
Which is, I'm already limited. So we're going to help you understand that instead of thinking, I'm already limited, how do I fix it? Which is what you're asking. We're going to teach you how to ask a different question, which is, what if I'm not limited? Then what can I really create? You see, when you're looking for an answer, sometimes the answers don't come. It's because you're asking the wrong question. Okay, so you ask the question from the perspective of trying to fix it, which we understand because that's sort of been in your, it's almost like you needed to have that sort of fix it mentality to survive for a while. Okay, things weren't going well. So you're like, let me fix this, let me fix this, let me fix this. So, but now you're not starving, right? So we're going to move that off the table. You're not starving now. Okay, so you are abundant. It's just that you want to go from being abundant to even more abundant, which is a really good question, right? It's a great place to be. So it's almost like you have to eliminate that mentality of how to fix it. Does that make sense? Because now you need to transition to a different mentality. It's not that was a wrong mentality. That was what you needed at the time. But now it's time to switch over to a different mentality, right? A different approach to how you can create the things you want. So you're going to get rid of that question. That's out.
Okay.
I'm going to ask a new question. If I didn't have any limit in terms of my staff, in terms of my technology, in terms of funds, what would I like to create? We see 3 million is really little. What if you could create a $10 million business? You don't know how yet. So then the question goes, how do I do that? Right? So
like my brain instantly went,
how do I do that? $10 million. Tell me. Give me the 10-step guides. So you're not going to think 3 million. Okay. Remember, we just spent 30 minutes telling you how to not set goals. Okay. So we're not going to repeat that. Let's put aside a limit, put aside 3 million. You're going to think, what if it could be a whole lot more than 3 million? It could be 10 million. You can just kind of set that loosely because it doesn't have to be a goal. Okay, remember, we're not saying 10 million is your goal. Just loosely, kind of, okay, it could be over there. So you're going to ask, I don't have the limit. I don't have time limit. I don't have technology limit. And I'm going to remove myself as the limit. Then what can I create? Okay. This is how you need to think in order to double, triple, quadruple, multiply by 10, multiply by 100 of what you're doing now. Okay. So then your mind is like, okay, but tell me how to do that. What's my next step? So what you want to do is when the mind comes, because the next step is actually there. The next step, let us give it to you this way. If you ask a limiting question, then the next step will be given to you based on the limiting question that you ask. But if you ask a question that's not limiting, then the next step that will be given to you that you can literally download from the universe will not be limited. Does that make sense? It's going to be a very different. It's like if the Titanic just went off like 1 degree, to the side, it would have not crashed into the iceberg, right?
Mhm.
But it was just incorrect by maybe 1 or 2 degrees. So it crashed into the iceberg. This is like life and death, right? That's very dramatic. It's like movie level drama. But life, while it's not so dramatic, not every day anyway, but by how you ask that question, it will lead you to a completely different result. So the next step question should be, okay, I would like to have unlimited, tremendous amount of growth, and I don't want to cap that growth. Remember, don't put the box over the lid over the box. You don't cap that growth at 3 million. It's just too little. We're just telling you, it's too little. So you're gonna think, okay, I'm comfortable at that seven-figure mark. This is like what I know. This is my comfort zone. Everyone's comfort zone is different, right? You're not better. You're not worse than anybody else. Everyone has just kind of their comfort zone. So it doesn't matter what level it is. But you're gonna ask, how do I get myself to be uncomfortable? How do I get myself to the zone that's not going to be comfortable for me, but I'm willing to be in that zone so I can experience that unlimited growth? Okay, we're gonna help you understand this, because the way you ask this question is, I think I want to go to 3 million, but even that's really scary, and then I have these limitations that I think I have, so that's really scary also. It's like you're already shrinking back. You see, you're like pulling yourself back. Okay, it's sort of like what Mary has said earlier, which is how she approached her life at the beginning, right? Everything was just extra scary. It's like buying expensive cheese was really scary. Everyone's scary is different. There's really no judgment. Like it's like Sarah was really afraid of buying with the $5 potato. She thought it was so expensive. So if you were to be more open, really, to that next level possibility, because think back to way back when. Maybe at first you only made like 5-figure salary, when you were younger. Then you got yourself, you motivate yourself. You did some, coaching work or whatever. You moved to 6-figure. And then you did some more coaching work and you worked on yourself, opened yourself a little bit more. Then you moved up, right? Like kind of step by step, which is the traditional method of self-improvement, step by step. Okay, but we don't teach step by step, right? You go to someone else for step by step. You're gonna think, I'm gonna think from the perspective, I don't have limitation, and I don't have myself as the limitation. Then what would be possible? What would I like? What would I be willing to experience that's uncomfortable? Because remember, right now, a $10 million business, even though in your head you're like, oh, I would love that, like tomorrow, but it's not comfortable yet. Do you understand? There are a lot of things that you would consider as the limit, which is what you had just asked us. Oh, but what if I push myself too much? What if I push my employee too much and this too much? And this? You're already assuming that. That's your old way of method. That's like your old way of doing things, right? So we're not going to use that method. Okay, it was like we're moving Solera's arm to the side. Okay, we're pushing this off the table. Don't approach it like this. You're gonna think, this is my next level. I don't know yet where that next level is, but I'm open to extra. Okay? So if I'm open to extra, what would that extra look like? You can just sort of guess, okay? You can just kind of guess. What would the extra look like? If I didn't think that I had limitations, then maybe I could scale really quickly to the 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. There are people, okay, on this planet who make like $10 million a day, okay? So it's like, it's relative, okay? The amount of money is just relative. For some people, $10 million a day is just like not a big deal. It's like, it's like $100. So, but for you, because it seems like it's a really big number and you're not comfortable with that big number, your homework is, I just need to learn how to be uncomfortable. Okay. And let us clarify. We're not saying uncomfortable, like you got to work like 20 hours a day. Okay, that's not the kind of uncomfortable we're saying. You just have to be uncomfortable to become a new person, right? The windy, that's not restricted. The windy, that's unbounded. And your mind might even say, oh, but what are people going to think if I buy like the $10 million waterfront home? What are people going to think? What if I lose my friends? There are a lot of irrational thoughts, okay? It's not like you're going to lose all your friends just because you're rich. But there are things that are going to be coming up in your head. What if this? What if this? What if this? We're saying this to you because that's you, okay? So, but a lot of people think that way. Oh, but this, and I don't know, and I don't know, and I don't know. But you think, if I was not limited, if it was true that I was not limited, then I could create so much more than what I think is possible. And if it's true that I could create more than what I think is possible, then what could I create? You see, we're not giving you the 10-step method to make 10 millions, right? But we're teaching you how to think in a way so that you can make an unlimited amount of money. Because you get to 10 million, you're going to get bored. You're like, okay, now what? Now what? Where's my 20 million? Where's my 50 million? Everybody goes through these stages. So that's why people always are experiencing what they call plateaus. It's like you hit a level, you're like, oh, I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. In order to become that new person, it's like the old person has to die all the time. It's kind of dramatic when we say that. But think about your closet or the things in your house. Let's say you've used like a dress for 5 years. It could be a really expensive dress, a really nice dress, but after about 5 years, it starts to get old. It starts to get out of fashion, right? Maybe the color's fading. It could be like Dolce & Gabbana. We don't care, okay? But after 5 years, like, is that still me? Like, do I still connect to the person that I was 5 years ago? Maybe not. So ideally, you would be kind of cleaning out old clothes, like cleaning out junk out of the house. That's just sort of like a normal part of routine if you're like a healthy person, right? So you might do that with your closet. So some clothes have to die, right, in the process. Like they're going to be donated or thrown out. But it's not just the act of cleaning out the closet that we're trying to teach everybody here, okay? We're not teaching you how to clean your closet. But it's the act of you, the old you dying, which is, it sounds really dramatic when we say that, but you have to drop that concept of who you used to be, right? Mary, I said earlier, the key to success in working with us is to be open, because we're not very traditional. Is to be open to what? To be open to a different version. The version that you're not going to feel comfortable immediately. You will be comfortable once you get there, but it's not comfortable on the way there. Yeah, no one's comfortable on the way there. But the middle stuff, as you're getting there, is what will create the magic. Okay, it's like the middle stuff. When you're asking yourself, oh, how do I do that? What if, and what if, and what if? You're like, no, I'm becoming a new person. The new person is going to ask open-ended questions that are unlimited. The new person is not going to ask questions based on limits. Okay? It's like the people who went to the moon. If they were asking limiting questions, they would have never gone to the moon, right? Because that's kind of scary. You could literally die from that process. But somebody thought of it. Actually, quite a few people thought of it. Like, what if we were not limited? What would we need to create in order to go to the moon? So a group of people got together and they did that, right? You're not going to the moon, are you? It's not even that hard. So, but in your mind, when something is so far away, it seems like we're asking you to go to the moon. Like the mind perceives it to be just so out there that it's like we're asking you to go to the moon to make $10 million. But we can assure you it's a whole lot easier to make $10 million than it is to go to the moon. Okay, if somebody could go to the moon, you can make $10 million. Okay, because difficulty, what you perceive to be a difficult thing, it is relative. Okay, so sometimes it's like, have some perspective, okay? It's almost like compare yourself to something ridiculous like going to the moon. You're not going to the moon. You're just expanding a business. So when you feel, now here's the thing for everybody, you're gonna hit that limit, you're gonna hit that resistance. You're like, oh, I don't know how I can go to the next thing. That's when you have to then go back to that question. Okay, I'm hitting a limit. I don't know how to move the next step, but I'm willing to be uncomfortable. I'm willing to not fixate on any answer just yet because I don't know yet. I'm willing to just open my mind to some new possibilities. Because remember what we just said, when you fixate on something, you're not going to get the answer. Doesn't matter how hard you try. Okay, you've been there many times, so we know you know. But you say, oh, that's my old me. Old me always comes back. Old me always says, oh, what if this, what if this, what if this? But the new me, the new me always asks questions that are unlimited. Questions that are based on freedom. If I was a totally free person, I have no restriction, then what would I do? It's like Solera in her 20s, she was interviewing for a job at Google, and they asked her, one of the job interviews, viewers asked her, what would you do if you didn't have to worry about money? She was, keep in mind, she was like 22. She was like, oh, in the morning I would go volunteer at Habitat for Humanity. In the afternoon, I'm gonna go ballroom dancing. And in the evening, I'm gonna be a lounge pianist. That's my dream life. Okay, she didn't have to worry about money. Because based on where she was at the time, that was her dream life. Okay, and now she can easily do all those things, right, for fun. Because now she has her dream life. This is her dream life. She was just spending a lot of time coloring earlier because that's her part of her dream life is doing coloring sheets. So it doesn't matter, right? You have to kind of allow yourself, if I didn't have to worry about all of this, then what would I be doing? You always need to be asking yourself that question. Do you understand? Otherwise, you put too much limitation on yourself. It's like you're just so fixated on your goals that sometimes you're a little bit lost in your personal goals, in the pursuit of your personal goals. So let's say we are now the interviewer. We ask you the question, and this would be your homework. Okay, if I didn't have to actually even worry about money, what would I actually be doing? If my money was already unlimited, it's like I just have access to everything all the time, what would I be doing? Obviously, your answer is not going to be like how Solera answered her question. They offered her the job, by the way. Okay, because they thought she was interesting. So you need to ask yourself questions that are a little bit more unrestricted, and we see this to everybody here. Don't place a limit on yourself. When you place a limit on yourself, you're gonna feel when you have that feeling like that's a sign that your old self is coming back. Do you understand? Life is very simple. Every time when you feel like something's just a little bit like that's all you need. That's like the signal you need. It doesn't have to be any dramatic. You're like, oh, I don't know, it doesn't feel good. Then you need to think like in a different direction. Like, I'm gonna go to this other side. What will my unlimited self say? And quite frankly, that's your answer to everything. There you go. Your life will not have any problem again from now on. Okay, what would my unlimited self say? You would absolutely feel a sense of expansion if you asked yourself that every day. Okay. So this is sort of where you are in terms of your comfort zone, and we're giving you a new possibility, but we're not saying this just to you. We're really saying this to everybody. Okay, you may be a little bit more ahead financially than other people, but everybody's question is basically the same. Okay. So understand, always make more room. The way you need to set your mind is, I'm always here to make more room. More room for possibilities, more room for possibilities, more room for possibilities. So then you're not just staring at like the Excel spreadsheets all day, you know, right? Because the Solera hates them. She hates the little boxes. Every time she sees like a piece of paper with like little squares, she's like, I just can't think in a straight line. I think in circles, she says. If you can look at the paintings behind, they're all circles. We're not saying you need to think in a circle, but sometimes when you're too limited by the boxes in your own mind, your life becomes limited. That's just how it is. Okay. We want to give you an image. This is sort of a final gift to everybody here. There's this toy that can contract and expand. Not a yo-yo, but it's a kind of toy. We're going to ask Solera maybe to show you an image. It's a toy that contract, expand, contract, expands. We'll just use her hands for now. We want your mind, it's almost like when you're meditating, when you're visualizing, we want you to expand your mind going like this, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like imagine there's like a circle in your mind, and the circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like the balloon gets bigger, right? When you blow into like a plastic balloon, when you put air, oxygen in there, it grows bigger. This is the image that we want you to experience in your mind. Experience your mind expanding constantly. Don't restrict the size of the balloon. Just let the balloon get as big as it can. Okay. Once you have that image of a huge balloon in your mind, then just kind of let your mind wander. Okay, now I've expanded so much. What can I create from that point? Okay. Where anything is possible from that point, now what can I create? We're not saying the steps are not important, but you always have to remember the question is always more important than the answer. Otherwise, your answer will always be incorrect, always be limited, always be unsatisfactory. That's just how life works. Okay? This is the shortcut. There's no other shortcut. Okay? Ask the correct question, and the correct answer will always be given to you. So we hope that's clear, yes?
Yes. Wonderful.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, everybody. I am so grateful for you. Thanks so much for joining us. I had so much fun. And that was a really good question. I think that probably answered a lot of people's questions about their life, because everyone is like, oh, what's my next step? What's my next level? You know, how do I do that? So thank you, ladies. So replays will be given to you. I'm going to send it out tomorrow. I'm going to go to bed now. And if you're interested in joining the Council of Billionaires, please reach out to me. You can DM me or go to the website, soleraforhumanity.com/apply. Love to have you and make some magic together. Alrighty? Send you a big hug and a big kiss, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you're ready to access extraordinary wealth and become the next global leader, then I invite you to go to councilofbillionaires.com and schedule a call with me. I look forward to discussing what's possible for you.